Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about the number one thing that makes an avoidant actually chase you. And I think this is important because a lot of times with relationships, it's not that you're asking for them to only chase you. It's truly the fact that they just don't initiate very often. And so you're always the one initiating. And so I think it's very normal that you want them to initiate and chase you sometimes just so it's balanced. And actually, the one thing that really makes an avoidant chase you is genuine accountability while managing your emotions. And it's simple to say, but it's easier said than done. And so I'm going to talk about how to actually do that, and so that you can get some of the initiation that you want in a relationship, which is normal. And so the first one is actually pause before reacting. And anybody can use this technique, and it does benefit you in some way, shape, or form. When you feel triggered, your body actually goes in some form of a defensive mode. And this, from a psychological perspective, subconsciously, we kind of recall what happened to us when we were younger or other times in our life where we felt this, whatever this trigger was, and something bad happened, is kind of the simplest way to put it. And so usually when you do this, when you don't pause before reacting, your trigger and wound shows up, whatever it may be. Maybe you're afraid to be abandoned. You may react that way, and then they perceive you as being too overbearing or too much because your trigger, now you have an emotion, and your emotion is now their trigger. And so what happens is they pull away, and you end up in that chasing scenario once again. But you're cutting it off before it starts, which is why pausing before reacting is really important. Some really easy techniques can be like taking a breath. Pause for 5 to 10 seconds before responding. However, what I think might be even more beneficial is this. And this one I feel lands really well with dismissive avoidance particularly, but it can work for both. You being the non-dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant. If you are the fearful avoidant, your partner is dismissive. I hope that makes sense. Say, I hear you. I need a minute to process so I can respond fairly. Just saying that, especially saying fairly, this will really change it, because already what you've done is you've shown your avoidant partner that you are someone who's calm, that you are someone who's rational, because avoidants like to think that they're always calm, they're always rational, and we know that's not true, right? I've had calls with you, and I've told you, like, some of y'all, you guys are great, and your partner is just kind of all over the place. And it's nothing judgment against them, but it's true, and I've told you guys that before. But when you do this, you kind of put it in their mind that, okay, if I react, obviously they're being calm. I can clearly tell that. If I react, it kind of makes me look like I'm the one who's overly triggered. And avoidants don't like being that person, because when they were younger, that's what their parent told them not to do. And so they're already aware of those things. So you're just reminding them, hey, I need you to show up too. And so I hear you. I need to process to respond for a moment. Okay. That's the first one. The next one is you want to separate these two things. Your emotions, which is it's going to be there, and your responsibility, that's also going to be there. Both can exist at the same time, but they don't need to be so tied together. And so this is the best way to put it. Your emotion might be, I feel hurt. I feel embarrassed. I feel abandoned. Responsibility is, I still messed up. I said something unfair, or I should have reacted better. Let's just say for whatever reason. You don't need to, like, you can still feel like, okay, I messed up a little bit, or I could have done better, or maybe you really didn't do anything, but you can still take responsibility, and you're still allowed to feel hurt too. Maybe you did crash out. That doesn't mean that you're not afraid. I'm sorry, that you're not allowed to feel hurt as well. You want to balance it. You can even say, I made a mistake, and I can appreciate that, and I can understand that. I do still feel hurt though. How can we meet in the middle? That is a good way to separate the two, but also put them together in a healthy way, not kind of making them kind of mix up and overlap where you kind of can't see the difference. The next one is you want to kind of own your own actions and reflect your own actions clearly. It's not really justification, excuses, or taking blame off your partner or yourself. It's just logically understanding. You can say, I did A, B, and C, and I understand how that affected you. I take responsibility for that. You can just keep it like that. You can keep it like that. This is that genuine accountability that avoidants really, really fall for. And it helps them to want to initiate, because they almost feel like if you can take accountability, they can feel safe around you. The next one is you want to label your emotions rather than always acting from them. You can try saying something, I'm feeling a little defensive right now, but I want to understand you. I'm feeling really frustrated, but I'm listening. I feel overwhelmed, but I want to be here for you. When you name the emotion, it makes them hear you from a logical perspective before the emotional flooding. Avoidants get very flooded regarding emotions, and it helps them to hear what you're saying in a logical way without them having to react so poorly, okay? The next one is you want to validate your partner's experiences, even if you don't agree. Agreeing and validation are different. People sometimes think they're the same thing, which is why they avoid this. I can see how I hurt you. That makes sense. I get why I get why you were behaving that way. I understand why that felt overwhelming. I kind of get a sense of how it landed, and I'm sorry. Anything like that. You don't even have to say sorry if you're not sorry, but you want to validate what their experience is, because their experience matters too. When you're a couple and you've been together for X amount of times, even for like a day, you're a couple. And I think it's important that they feel part of that relationship just like you do, just like you want to feel. It's the same thing. The next one is you want to share your perspective after you've taken some responsibility. Once you've owned and shared whatever happened, you can say, I take responsibility for, crashing out at you. I was overwhelmed. That doesn't excuse it. But what happened on my end is when you didn't answer my text message after you promised that you would, it kind of made me feel like you were not only breaking your promise, but that what I say doesn't matter to you, that you're not thinking about my feelings. And I know that might not be what happened, and I can appreciate that. But on my end, that's what I perceived it like. Can you let me know what actually happened so that we can find a way for this not to happen together? You can share your perspective and find a way to meet in the middle. And that's kind of the next point, actually. You want to make concrete repair. I love concrete repairs. I work with, all the couples I work with. If you guys know, if you've had a call with me, you know how much I love stuff like this, okay? This one works so well regardless of your attachment style. This is kind of the example of what a concrete repair looks like, because the truth of the matter is it's going to be very specific to your couple, like your relationship. So if you want me to observe that, you can book a call with me. It's pinned in the comments. But offering a real apology or acknowledgement of their side, ask what your partner needs and kind of find a way to compromise. Adjust the behavior, whatever it may be, even if a little bit, just adjust a little bit and then follow through consistently. That's kind of what repair looks like.